The movie begins in Japan with a student named Takahata, who stands out among his classmates because of his intelligence. However, his brilliance makes him bored with life, and he secretly wishes for an exciting challenge to break the monotony. His wish suddenly comes true during class, when the teacher's head explodes, and in its place appears a strange talking doll called Daruma. The doll announces a deadly game. If it turns to face a student and sees them move, their head will explode instantly. When its back is turned, the students are free to move. Panic breaks out as Daruma begins eliminating students one by one. Some attempt to escape through the classroom doors, but they find themselves trapped inside. A student named Takahata calms everyone and explains that this is the Daruma game, where they will all die unless someone presses the button on Daruma's back. A reckless student makes an attempt, but the doll senses him, turns quickly, and kills him. The remaining students then notice a timer on Daruma's back, counting down from 1 minute. If the time runs out, everyone will die. Desperate, the students rush to press the button, but many slip on the red beads spilling from the dead, only to be killed in the process. Within seconds, the classroom is filled with corpses, leaving only Takahata and Sakata alive. They devise a quick plan. Sakata crouches so Takahata can leap off his back to reach Daruma. At the last second, Takahata manages to press the button, ending the challenge. But instead of celebrating together, Sakata suddenly explodes. Daruma announces that only Takahata, who pressed the button, is the true winner. Horrified, Takahata hears Daruma cryptically warn that the cat is coming, hinting at the next challenge. The classroom door opens, and Takahata's friend Ichika enters, traumatized. She reveals she endured the same Daruma challenge in another class, where pressing the button cost the lives of all her classmates. Together, they try to call the police, but discover their phones have no signal. They attempt to escape the school, but all the doors and windows are sealed. Eventually, they stumble into the gymnasium, where they find other surviving students. Inside, they encounter the next game. A giant cat statue emerges from the ground, devouring any student wearing mouse costumes. The challenge is to score a basketball into the hoop mounted on the cat's body. A skilled player attempts this, but fails when the cat blocks his shot and kills him with brutal force. Takahata realizes the cat only targets those dressed as mice and warns the others to remove their costumes. For a brief moment, they feel safe, but then the cat shifts its behavior and begins devouring anyone in sight. Amid the chaos, Ichika discovers a ball with a timer showing only 3 minutes left. When the cat corners her, Takahata distracts it by wearing a mouse costume himself, allowing her to escape. While evading the cat, Takahata realizes he can understand its growls because of the costume. The cat confesses it simply wants its back scratched so it can sleep. Takahata bravely climbs onto its back and scratches it, calming the beast. The other students join in, and soon the cat dozes off completely. Seizing the opportunity, Takahata picks up the ball to make the winning shot, but infighting erupts as the others argue over who should throw it, fearing that only the scorer will survive. Their shouting wakes the cat, which brutally kills 2 students. With time running out, Takahata devises a clever trick. He disguises an ordinary basketball as the real one, while Ichika secretly carries the true ball. When the cat focuses on Ichika's shot, Takahata hurls his disguised ball, revealing the real one inside. But his throw narrowly misses. At the last second, another student named Amaya appears, catches the ball, and successfully dunks it into the cat's hoop. The cat collapses and declares the winners: Takahata, Ichika, and Amaya, no one else. In a shocking turn, Amaya massacres the remaining students, reveling in his twisted belief that only the strong deserve to live. He confronts Takahata and Ichika, but before he can kill them, white smoke engulfs the gym, and the 3 survivors vanish. Meanwhile, news reports reveal that identical deadly games are unfolding in schools worldwide, with over 10 million students already dead. Governments attempt to cover up the events, while rumors spread that aliens are behind the phenomenon. Massive floating cubes appear in the sky, each serving as an arena for the survivors. Inside the Japanese cube, Takahata awakens to find himself surrounded by other survivors from different schools: Takusa, Tiara, and Taka, all of whom had previously endured and survived the deadly Daruma and cat challenges. He notices a peculiar pattern. Every survivor's name begins with the letter T. This suggests a deliberate system that organizes survivors into factions according to their initials. With the door locked and no escape possible, their only option is to wait for the next trial to begin. Suddenly, a group of eerie floating dolls bursts into the room, announcing the start of the third challenge. They select Tiara to go first, emboldened by his excessive confidence. The rules are explained. The participant must sit on the floor, cover his eyes while the dolls circle and sing, and then identify which doll is standing behind him when the song ends. Tiara grows anxious and answers incorrectly. One of the dolls fires a strange beam at him, taking control of his body and forcing him to smash his head against the ground repeatedly until he dies. Next, the dolls compel Tara to play. Terrified, she initially refuses, but under threat of instant death, she has no choice. Blindfolded, she hesitates when questioned and is deemed a loser. The dolls unleash their beam, seizing control of her body, stretching her limbs grotesquely until her bones snap and her body is left broken and lifeless. When the challenge falls to Takahata, Takahata intervenes and demands to take her place. To the doll's surprise, he answers correctly, having memorized their movements by observing the earlier rounds. Frustrated, the dolls vanish, leaving behind a key with a special symbol. Takahata and Takahata claim it, relieved to have survived. Soon after, they encounter another student carrying a second key, sprinting frantically while being pursued by one of the dolls. He warns them that the dolls only attack isolated students. Anyone standing alone will be targeted and killed. Understanding the danger, the survivors clasp hands and move as one, forcing the doll to retreat and search elsewhere for prey. Together, they advance toward the next trial. A massive wooden head suddenly emerges from the wall, with a countdown timer engraved on its forehead and 7 slots clearly meant for keys. The voice of the head declares that 7 individuals must insert their keys before time runs out. The group manages to gather enough people and keys to nearly complete the task, until Amaya arrives with another student. Without hesitation, Amaya kills his companion to reduce their number to the required 7. The ruthless act shocks the others, but with time slipping away, Takahata reluctantly accepts his presence. Once the 7 keys are placed, the wooden head announces the completion of the challenge, orders them to change their clothes, and disappears, opening a passage into the next stage. The survivors emerge into a frozen wasteland shrouded in mystery. The ground trembles as a colossal white bear puppet appears, performing an unsettling display before addressing them. It declares its hatred of lies and explains the rules of the new challenge. It will ask them questions, and they must answer truthfully. If a lie is detected, they must identify the liar or sacrifice someone, or else the entire group will perish. The first question is deceptively simple. What is your favorite food? Everyone answers, but the bear claims it detects dishonesty. Suspicion spreads until one student, who claimed his favorite meal was vegetables, is singled out. Vegetables are not a full meal. Though he insists he was honest, the group condemns him, and the bear crushes him to death before their eyes. The next question cuts deeper. Do you love Takahata? Both Ichika and Takahata, who harbor feelings for him, admit their affection. Surprisingly, Amaya and the other students also answer yes. The bear then announces that one among them is lying. Ichika accuses Amaya, arguing that he is incapable of love, sparking a heated argument. Meanwhile, Takahata quietly questions why anyone would risk lying when the bear can detect it. Impressed, the bear praises him and reveals the twist. One of them is not human at all but an alien disguised as a student, and that is the true source of deception. The revelation fractures the group. One student accuses Takahata, reasoning that because he and his friend are from the same school, and Takahata, Ichika, and Amaya are also from another, Takahata is the only outsider. By this logic, she must be the alien. Despite Takahata and Ichika's desperate defense, the majority votes against her. Takahata is executed brutally by the bear, leaving only her blood behind. The loss devastates Takahata, who is left reeling from the death of his former love. At that decisive moment, Takahata rises and declares that he has uncovered the truth. The liar was never among the students. The real deceiver is the bear itself. He explains his evidence. Takusa's blood had splattered on the bear, washing away its white paint and revealing the black surface beneath. The bear had been concealing its true identity all along. There was never an alien among them. The earlier accusations and executions were orchestrated to manipulate the survivors into paranoia and mutual destruction. The horrifying reality comes into focus. The game itself, or the sinister force controlling it, was designed to break the survivors from within, planting suspicion and fear until they destroyed each other. The dolls and trials were never random tests of survival, but carefully engineered traps meant to divide, deceive, and annihilate humanity. After Takahata exposes the white bear's secret, the creature erupts in rage and tries to crush the students. They manage to escape until the bear stumbles into a heated area, its body burning as the white paint that disguised it melts away. Accepting defeat, the bear declares their victory in the challenge. Soon after, the dolls reappear and transport the survivors to a new arena. There, smaller puppets greet them cheerfully and announce that the next challenge will be the final one. The rules are grim. One student will be chosen as Akuma. This Akuma must take a box and place it inside a red circle on the ground. The others will hide while Akuma hunts them down. Whenever Akuma spots someone, he must shout their name and lock them inside a cage. If Akuma manages to imprison 3 or more students, he wins. However, if any free student manages to kick the box, all prisoners will be released. The catch: the box contains a bomb, and whoever kicks it will die. The game will last until sunset, giving them roughly 1 hour. To decide who becomes Akuma, the dolls hand out 5 wooden sticks. Fate delivers the worst outcome possible. Amaya, the most brutal and unhinged of them all, is chosen. The game begins. The students scatter, while Amaya places the box inside the circle and immediately begins his hunt. He quickly finds 2 students from another school, overpowers them with ease, and throws them into the cage. Takahata and Ichika witness this from a distance, but Amaya soon notices them as well and heads straight for their hiding place. Takahata tries to tie a rope for their escape, but time is running out. Realizing they won't make it, Ichika sacrifices herself to buy Takahata precious seconds. Amaya seizes her and then charges after Takahata, who narrowly escapes. Knowing Amaya will guard the box, Takahata hides nearby. Amaya calls out, attempting to lure him, claiming he already captured 3 people, so they could win together. Takahata doesn't believe a word of it. Searching the area, Takahata finds an old suit of armor. He wears it, planning to shield himself from the explosion when he kicks the box. But the armor is heavy and slows him down. He drops his sword, stumbling clumsily, and looks ridiculous. Amaya tears off Takahata's helmet to mock him, only to realize too late that Takahata had tied a chain around himself and Amaya, anchoring him to the spot. Takahata reveals his plan, confessing that he once found life dull and meaningless, but through these deadly games he came to realize how precious it truly was, though it cost him his friends. He throws himself off the castle, dragging Amaya down with him. Takahata slips free of the armor midair, while Amaya struggles against the immense weight. Takahata climbs back up toward the box, exhausted but determined. Amaya manages to free himself just in time and rushes to stop him. In the final desperate moment, Takahata kicks the box, releasing the captives. Everyone braces for an explosion, but nothing happens. The dolls reappear, revealing there was never a bomb inside the box. It was a lie designed only to heighten the tension. Sunset arrives, marking the end of the final challenge. Enraged by defeat, Amaya expects death, but the dolls assure them that no one will die. The last game was merely that, a game. Fireworks light the sky in celebration, and the survivors are rewarded with ice cream. As Takahata chats with Ichika about what they'll do once they escape, he notices writing on his ice cream stick but dismisses it. Ichika, however, bursts into tears after reading hers. It says, "You lost. You will die." The dolls then reveal the harsh truth. While the previous challenges relied on skill and intellect, in the end, fate alone decides who lives and who dies. Every ice cream stick carried the destiny of its holder. Takahata's stick marked him as a survivor, as did Amaya's, but Ichika and the 2 other students were fated to perish. In an instant, Beams of light fire from the dolls, vaporizing Ichika and the others before Takahata's horrified eyes. With the games concluded, only Takahata and Amaya are left alive. They are lifted atop the giant cube hovering over Japan, greeted by the cheers of countless onlookers. Yet amidst the victory, Takahata is consumed by grief, having lost the girl he loved. The story ends in bittersweet contrast, triumph shadowed by sorrow, survival scarred by loss.